Peak Design Outdoor Backpack. Probably a couple words I never thought I would say together. Peak Design, if you don't know them, they kind of started out as like a camera gear company out in San Francisco. Since then, they've become, I think, the world's most successful brand on Kickstarter, raising something like $38 million or more for their bag. Now, at the time that you're going to see this, you've probably got about one more week to go grab this early on their Kickstarter for like a 20 to 25% discount. Otherwise, you're probably going to be paying full retail price from their website. I'll include a link to the Kickstarter down below, and then I'll update it to their website when it goes live. So let's give you guys a kind of a first glimpse of this bag. Now, this thing is, it's like it wants to do everything. It wants to be a travel bag. It wants to be your outdoor bag. It wants to be a camera bag. And I think the question is, and this is really up for you guys to decide as I walk through the features of this bag, is does it succeed at any of those? Does it succeed at all of them? I have my own opinion, but I'm going to keep it to myself until the end. So let's get into it. Now, this is the 45-liter bag. They also have a 25-liter bag that came out with this Kickstarter. Along with this are their ultralight packing cubes as well as their outdoor sling. We've got the packing cubes here, the sling we're going to cover in another video, specifically around slings, but I'll kind of walk you through how this whole ecosystem works together. And that's a word I really want to focus on, is ecosystem. Peak Design is very, very good at figuring out how to get all of these unrelated things kind of to tie together. Their, various cubes that they're very well known for, their wash pouch, their tech pouch, their packing cubes, their camera accessories, their camera cubes, all kind of fit perfectly within their bag. They try to divide up their bag space so that it can fit like specifically, the medium packing cube, 2 smalls, and a wash pouch and a tech pouch. They're very good at kind of building out their ecosystem so that everything plugs really well together, and this bag is no exception. Now, I did say that this is the 45 liter and there is a 25 liter. So there are some differences here if you're looking at the 25 liter that aren't going to be available on that bag as they are seen here. Number 1 on that list are the hip belts here. These come with the 45 liter. They are optional or an additional purchase on the 25 liter bag. You'll notice that there are 2 pouches on the side of each side of this bag. The 25 liter is only going to have 1, and that makes sense. There's just not as much space to kind of fill with that. Load lifters do not come on the 25 liter bag. Makes sense. Again, once you kind of get below 30 liters, you don't really need to have that extra sort of weight distribution. There is an internal frame sheet as well. It kind of goes right up here before the roll top, all the way to the bottom. That part is only also with the 45 liter bag. So there are quite a few things here that, might not be applicable to the 25 liter. However, the rest of the stuff is the same. So I think there's still some benefit to you watching this video. Now, this bag, all right, let's just jump into it. It has Peak Design's custom brand zippers. I think they're called Ultra Zips. It's UHWMPE, ultra high weight molecular polyethylene, I think it stands for. Thread woven into their zippers, so they're not YKK. That being said, Peak Design as a brand, I feel like has always been known for their quality, and I don't think that is any different this time. Their zippers feel great. They're all kind of AquaGuard style, so this thing has a lot of built-in weather resistance. There is a rain fly that you can purchase separately for $30. We have it here somewhere. The other things, it's a Nov-Jan plastic belt buckle. All of their stuff feels like very, very quality materials, and I think you'll notice that the whole way through. Something that's kind of new is this kind of TPU style coating on the front part of this bag here and the bottom, so high abrasion points. The reason that the front is a high abrasion point is because this bag, if you want to zip it open, opens up from the back, so you are going to be laying it on that high contact point, and it's nice that they put that extra abrasion resistant material there, which is also weather resistant, which is really great. That's not everywhere. The rest of this bag is this kind of ripstop nylon, which has a really great feel. Now, they do talk about this as one of their ultralight bags, and I'll talk about that right now. It comes in at about 3.97 pounds or about 1.55 kilos. So not exactly the first thing that jumps into my mind when I hear the term ultralight, but it is lightweight, especially when you think about their Peak Design 45 liter travel bag, which is about 4.5 to 5 pounds, something like that. And you get a lot more functionality with this. It almost looks a little bit of a mess right now, and that's because there are so many of these kind of like custom straps and, hey buddy, different ways that you can configure this bag and integrate with all of their things that I'm gonna try and walk through with you guys, that it doesn't surprise me that it weighs this much given all of the functionality that you have. So let's work our way back from the front. Again, I mentioned you've got this kind of TPU coating on the front and on the bottom. It feels very good. You'll see here that there's some 3D texture, although it's anchored in at the sides with this gold thread, but it does have some depth. You can't put stuff in here. Some people complain that, you know, there would be no drainage, but there are two tiny holes. You can like barely feel them, but they're just like about that big to offer some drainage if water does get in. Underneath here, there are these lash points. Now, these lash points are going to be hidden pretty much throughout the bag in every single place that you can find. And that's because it all works with this new hook cord system that they have. And these hooks can go on everything. So that this anchor point basically gives you a kangaroo pouch on the bottom here so that you can stuff like a rolled up jacket, a sleeping bag, a sit pad, something like that underneath. Shoes if you're a one bag traveler. So it is very cool that you have all of these options. Again, these lash points are kind of everywhere. They're all over the side. So you can really kind of customize. I've seen people do kind of like a paracord loop back and forth to give you some extra kind of bungee capacity at the front. That'd be more for hiking, I would imagine, because when you're traveling, you probably want to keep your stuff kind of inside and protected for the most part. On the sides here, there are these zippers. There's an internal storage pocket right here. It goes about halfway. So imagine there's a little vertical line right down here and then it's split. There's a pocket on either side. It's got these nice little zipper pulls, very smooth and easy to use. I don't know what I would put in here, but it does have, you know, a decent amount of capacity. Maybe my quick access stuff, or as I was going through, sorry. Jumbo, you're being so bad, dude. Don't get a kitten. So maybe as I was going through security, I throw some of my quick access stuff in here, my phone, my passport, just to get it out of my pockets. Really easy to access. This side comes with a little key leash right here, very stretchy, little nice bungee area. That's about it. Again, same capacity. It runs about halfway down this bag. So those are the first two kind of quick access pockets you see. You'll notice that there are these stretchy pockets on both sides. So these are huge. I was trying to figure out what I would do with these. I just stuffed some things in here, some mic equipment, because, you know, I was gonna talk about camera gear with this bag because Peak Design is really known for a lot of their camera stuff. But you could stuff a jacket in here, a big thick tripod if you have it, maybe a lens. It does have these lashes. Again, these are just everywhere. And this hook system, let me try and pop this off. It's actually been a little difficult for me sometimes, but these little cables, they all have like a little U hook right here, and those can be customized to go anywhere. So maybe I want to hook it right here, and then I've got something I can, you know, maybe stuff in here, maybe the same over here. I do it on that side, and then I loop it through both of these. So you can really just kind of do whatever you want with this bag, which is kind of cool. I do like that. I do like the fact that they gave me complete customization. So you got these two big pockets, and then right behind them, you have another deep one. This is probably where I put my water ball pocket. This is really deep, huge. I mean, that's basically like my entire forearm fits completely inside this with my hand extended. So massive pocket. Maybe you want to put your tripod or lens in there. You can then anchor things behind this lash point. Again, another one that you can just unclip. You can use this as compression for the bag, which is really cool. Not only can this be to hold something up against the side of the bag, this is also kind of your compression strap area. They do have these little pulls. You just pull back, cinch it, and then it's tightened, and then obviously reverse if you want to loosen things up. So you've got two of those on either side. Again, that's unique to the 45 liter. The 25 liter will probably only have one pocket on each side. Now, the front is, how do I say this? It was a little confusing to me. The first time I got this bag, I was like, this will be straightforward. A backpack is a backpack. It is not true. So they have this internal section right here, and that's like the stuff pocket. That's probably where I'd put my down jacket, my rain jacket. Regardless of if I was hiking or traveling, that's probably where I'd stuff it in. There is kind of this heavy feeling right here, and that's for the cinch system. This is how you tighten the bag down. You just pull, and then everything cinches down. Now, there were some people on the Kickstarter who complained about this tab just being loosey-goosey, kind of out being able to snag, especially in a hiking backpack. I do think that's a fair criticism. However, they did come back and say, look, during testing, we've never had any complaints over this kind of snagging or anything, and I would agree with that. You know, if people are gonna complain about this snagging, I would probably be more concerned about the 80,000 other little pieces of this hook system that they have everywhere snagging for this, because they are more on the side and this is directly behind you. So yeah, but that's how you do it. To loosen it back up, you're just gonna pull that back open and you'll see that just slides right out. I don't think that's at risk of coming open by itself. You know, just giving it a decent tug right here and it's not budging. So I do really think you have to pull kind of down and away for this to loosen up and then to slide open. So now you'll notice right here, there are two more hooks. This is to compress this top part down. So you can also have these stretched out much further. I had these cinched all the way down because I was using it as compression. Now, the thing you'll notice is that when you do have them tightened down all the way, obviously the cord has to go somewhere. So there is a lot of cord. Now you can just tuck it in this stuff pocket and not worry about it. But you know, if you're someone who gets bothered by kind of like all of these loose kind of dangling strings, this is probably maybe not the bag for you, but I do think there's a way to kind of keep it tidy, and I'm sure you could do something with strap keepers. I do like this though, because the top is a roll top right here. This is what gives you extra capacity. So it is a large bag, but you can probably squeeze, you know, a couple extra 3-5 liters of space up in this giant top compartment. Now this will push you above airline carry-on requirements. The bag already is like 22.5 inches tall or something. So you're kind of at the edge, but 100% you could easily fit this in all carry-on compliant restrictions. I was able to put it in a thing, no problem. Now this roll top enclosure, there are magnets built in at this top part, and that cinches everything together just like that. I mean, it's not super secure, but it's not gonna pop open either. If you do have this incredibly stuffed, especially up near the top, I would imagine that this might be a little more difficult to keep shut. At that point, I would probably rely on these to cinch them down, pull that string, get both of these nice and loose, come over the, like roll this once or twice, then I would come over the top and anchor it on these back ones. So that's just, you know, one of the 90,000 things you can do with this new hook system, which I do think is really cool. It's very innovative. So I could also stuff an extra jacket on top there if I wanted to. And you can take these off if you're not using them. So that's it. Now I can use this for other stuff. I can lace this around the front if I wanted that kind of bungee system. I could use this to hook onto one of their packing cubes and turn it into a kind of a sling or a day pack. The sky's kind of the limit for these, and that's what I really like about this bag, is this modular system. It's very, very unique. So there is on this inside part the tiniest little flex pocket. There's no way you're gonna be able to see this. This little thing is a little mesh pocket. Now this mesh pocket, I guess if you wanted to put maybe like a tripod or something small, a camera battery in there, there's one on either side. You could stuff it in there, but I'm not really sure what I would use it for. So that's that. Let's get into the main compartment of the bag now. Now there are two ways in. One is through this giant mesh compartment up here. And in my opinion, this is very difficult. And I actually don't mind top loader bags, but I love the fact that they give you another option. I guess that's what I'm gonna try to say. I think they did this extremely well. There is this tiny quick access pocket up at the top, and you can kind of fold this down actually and around so we can see this easier. But it's pretty much the only bit of organization you get. Basically a 3D mesh pocket, breathable, see-through. It's got 3D dimensions, really nice. You'll also see the frame sheet right underneath that, the iron frame sheet right below. But that's it. That's pretty much all of the organization you're gonna get on the interior of this bag. And now let's flip it over and I'll show you how to get into it from the back, which is probably the main way you'll be accessing it, and also why you will care about that TPU coating on the front. Because of high abrasion, you're gonna be putting it face down, so you're gonna be thankful you have that. This is the main compartment. There is this curved lumbar support, air channel. It's mesh, very breathable. There's a gap back here, but there is fabric in between. Now, there's a tiny little gap maybe about right here where the fabric isn't. It's not enough for a luggage pass-through. Same down here at these hip belts, but they did mention somewhere that they had another idea of how you would do the luggage pass-through. I think maybe using the sleeve or the shoulder straps and just putting it on the bag and then having it go through there, something like that. Rather than creating a dedicated channel in the back, which I'm kind of okay with. Doesn't really bother me. Let's go into this main compartment and then we'll talk about the rest of the harness system. I got a lot to talk about with this bag. So we've got these big zippers. They go all the way around the bottom here. The one thing I will say real quick, just so I can show you, is that these tuck away back here, the waist belt, which is really nice. I like that. So we'll do that just so we can get in. Now this lifts up. So this is the hydration sleeve, laptop compartment. Pretty minimal, but you kind of want that on like a hiking backpack, I would imagine. It's got some stretch, false bottom, so you know, you're not gonna slam it on the ground. It's got this Velcro here, so you can see the internal frame sheet. Replace it maybe if it needs to dry out, something like that. Fits up to a 16-inch laptop. You don't get an extra compartment for a tablet or anything like that. An iPad, I don't really need it, so it's not a big deal. And now you're in the guts of the bag. This is it. Not a lot to talk about here, just one big bucket of space. And this is nice. It kind of reminds me of the Manal backpack, if anyone's ever used that. It's just a big scoop right here, and you can just stuff this thing. So I've got their ultralight packing cubes, not the mesh. These are the Terra shell, I believe. It's like a ripstop nylon, kind of waterproof. These aren't really packing cubes, I want to say that. They even say on their website, they're not really meant for clothes in the traditional sense. They're just not meant for clothes. They're meant for like knickknacks and doodads and camera gear, and maybe you want to wear it as a sling when you're out doing photography. It can fit a camera camera cube in there to give it some structure. And in their like packing videos, they stuff them with like snacks and a water bottle. So not closed, but I have them here, so I want to show you. This one's about 10 liters and fully stuffed out. You could probably fit like 3 of these very comfortably, almost just about, with probably a little room at the top, especially if you expanded the roll top, you could probably fit 4. But that's kind of how much capacity there is. Probably like 35 liters internal space, plus this, plus the quick access pockets gives you about 40, 45, right? On the interior here, there are a bunch of these anchor systems or little loops, which you could anchor some cables to tie gear down, packing cubes, or camera cubes. You could probably anchor to these components if they've got some sort of tie down. This is probably the easiest way to access the contents of your bag, and the way I am probably 99% of the time gonna access all the stuff that I'm using in here. When I've been doing some test packs, I've just never really gone through the top, especially with kind of like that cinch rope system. It's just too much of a hassle for me, especially when there are 2 beautiful zippers on the back here. I'm just gonna go that way. So you just zip it back up when it's not in use. I don't feel like these zippers are gonna be a failure point for this bag. They feel really quality, really durable. I really like the zipper pulls. They look beefy, so that's good. And what's nice is that all of their zippers kind of have this, if you're familiar with YKK Aqua Guards, it's got that same thing. It just completely sealed off, weather sealed. So that's really nice. You don't have to worry about weather with a bag like this. Let's talk harness system real quick. So this is a comfortable bag to wear. I can't say this enough. They've got these hook systems up here for the shoulder straps. That's how they hook onto the bag. They actually go through these little loops. I don't know if you can see these, but these loops here are their harness adjusting system, and that's only on the 45 liter. The 25 liter is basically just the one size fits all. You're not gonna have that customization. This can fit somewhere between like 17 and 20 something inches for torso size, so you can adjust this if it doesn't feel like it's the right fit, which is really, really nice. Load lifters are these hook things again. So these are directly sewn into the shoulder straps right here, so you're not gonna really like remove them and use them somewhere else, but it is kind of nice because you can just pop them off if for some reason you don't want to use them. And there are various anchor points all up and down these shoulder straps. They also each have a sort of mesh pocket on the front. So phone, candy bar or something if you're doing some hiking. On the left-hand side, there's a perfect attachment for their quick release. God, what's this thing called? I can't remember the exact name, but I love this thing. I hooked my camera up to it all the time. It just means so that you're out walking around, you've got your camera right here, you see something cool, push this button, it slides out. You snap a photo, you click it back in, and it's completely secure. It is so nice. Now these are the dual sternum straps, and I do not know why someone hasn't done this sooner. I always feel like 1 sternum strap is never in the right spot for me. 2 is perfect. It is adjustable, removable. It's this hook system again, so you hook them onto these lash points, which are kind of all over the straps here, and you hook them on, and that means that you can now secure the bag high up on your chest, which is really nice for me, and then a little bit lower. I feel like just kind of helps keep everything tight in on your body. I think it's fantastic. Now the cool thing about this is, let's say I'm out filming some stuff. I've got my small or extra small. This is their Ultralight, so it's the nylon one, not the mesh. This has got the ripstop nylon, so abrasion resistant. It's not stretchy, it's not breathable, waterproof zippers, but these little lash points, you can see them on the bag. They're 2, 1 on each side. Hook like everything else onto these hooks right here. And now I can hang this on the front like a sling, kind of. You can also do the same thing on this side of the bag. If I want to unclip these, I can anchor them on right here. Same with this side over here. If I don't want to use compression and instead wanted to just have some quick extra storage. So you could do this with all of these bags, all of these packing cubes. And you could put like your Peak Design camera strap here. I love this thing. It's got to be the best one. I've got my Rode mic in here in case I was going to do some filming. That's kind of what would fit in this little small guy. The bigger ones, obviously you can fit way more stuff. These packing cubes feel really nice though. They're extremely lightweight. The zippers are great quality. It's got a little pull tab here. You can also put some paracord through it if you want to identify them or anything like that. Back to the sternum strap, or sorry, back to the shoulder straps. Yeah, great, huge pockets all the way down, cell phone, things like that. Tiny little bit of branding here with the Peak Design logo, which I really dig. It's got these hook points all the way down so you can adjust the sternum straps, attach other things like their sling, for example, their 7-liter sling or whichever sling you choose. They also have a 2-liter, I believe. You can just attach it right across these shoulder straps and then have it right in between you. That's probably what I would do if I was going on a flight. Hook it up right there, put in battery pack, headphones, things I'm gonna need for the flight. Those are the shoulder straps. They're really beefy. I love the feel. You can see it's very porous. porous mesh, which is great. You want that breathability in these shoulder straps. And this has gotta be one of the most comfortable bags. And this was my biggest beef for their travel bag. I loved it. I thought its feature set was great. The design aspects of it was beautiful. You could tell it was cultivated with care. They really care about the products they make, but it was just so heavy and, in my opinion, uncomfortable to carry. So I don't really mind if bags are heavy as long as they're comfortable to carry, and that kind of missed on both points for me. This bag is changing the game because it feels incredibly comfortable. The only other bit of kind of logo you see here is this Peak design in gold thread at the top here, which I think is very, very fetching. I do like the colorway. Black apparently sells 80% more than like any other color, so you have to have it in black. They do have a red color and a white color, which I really like the fact that they go out and try different colorways. And I should note that this is a pre-production sample, so since these aren't just at general availability yet, some of the things that you see here might change by the time that you get your hands on it, but hopefully not much. So let me put this on real quick. The waist sizes that this supports are 24 to 52 inches, and it is 17 to 20 inches for the torso going up. So let me put this on. Okay, so this is the bag. You can see here kind of all of these attachment points. The sternum strap, they both just come across the chest, and then you're locked in. Double sternum straps, which is beautiful. I can't tell you how comfortable that makes this bag and how underrated that is. Tighten up these. You got your load lifters up here. So you cinch those down, and you've got a really comfortable carry. And this thing is snug right up against your back, especially with this this curved aspect right back here, this lumbar support. The hip belt is gonna slide out when you want it. You're gonna have to pull it around. That's got this Nov-Jan buckle, super nice, fits really well. You've got pockets down here. This one is just an open pocket. Again, that's the attachment point for the camera clip, but just an open pocket, stuff something easy. This one's zippered, more secure if that's what you care about. And the cool thing is you can actually remove these because it is optional. You can just kind of push, and then you see this little circular part that slides into like a little 3/4 semicircle, and then it just hooks in, and that's what allows it to swivel up and down. But that's essentially what your hip belt is. I will say this system is actually pretty great. It feels incredibly comfortable, and if I don't want it, I just fold them up. I love that, and I love that on their first travel bag, and I love it on this one. So this bag is phenomenal. So at the time you see this, you probably got about 1 more week to go out and get this, so I'll include a link below. Thank you so much for watching. This thing really is fantastic. Now, my personal opinion, I tell you at the end, is that it actually does all three very well. I wish it was a smidge lighter. I do think 4 pounds for a bag that's considered ultralight is a bit of a miss, but for all of the features that you get, for the functionality, for all of the cool ways that I can customize this, I think it makes up for it. And I really dig their packing cubes for all my random crap. I actually do kind of like stuff like this rather than, you know, those over-engineered tech pouches. I've always just been a big fan of throwing it in one container, so I'll probably actually continue to use these with the added benefit that I can strap them to the front of the bag if I need things. Awesome job, Peak Design. Thank you so much for sending us this bag. Thank you guys for watching, and please do not forget to like and subscribe. Take care.